Welcome into 11 Personnel presented by Monticello Bank. I'm Nick Roush. He's Adam Luckett. Apologies for the delay. It's been a crazy couple of days around here, and we're here to talk about it. Talk about it all thanks to our friends at Monticello Bank. It's where people matter. They've been in this game for a very long time across the Commonwealth because it's where people matter. They take care of their people. They're going to get the numbers on your side to make sure you get the best rate possible, no matter what it's going to be. You need a car loan, home loan, want to get a HELOC special, open up a home equity line of credit, no matter what it is. Monticello Bank has you covered. They're near you with 21 locations in 15 counties across Kentucky. They're right around the corner, and they're always conveniently online at mbcbank.com. Monticello Bank, it's where people matter. Proud presenting sponsors of 11 Personnel, and they are also equal housing lenders, members of FDIC. Luckett, are you a member of the FDIC?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Glad we're all on the same page here. How you holding up, brother?
I'm doing pretty good today, I have to say. Still a little tired, Nick, powering through it, but yeah, just kind of reacting from I think what was a whirlwind, not just for me, but for anyone. No matter what level you're into it, right? Casual, diehard, KS border, media, UK. Like it was a whirlwind. Like these coaches, they just searching to just get crazy. We had signing day on top of everything. It was just pretty nuts stuff.
Yeah, and for me, it's not just the nut stuff that's happening with Kentucky, but in order to keep up with it, I've got my my Twitter notifications turned on for all these breaking news reporters. It's been nuts around all of college football. So there's like stuff that I think happens, but I don't remember if it happens or if it did. I forgot. And then, wait, did that happen? Like, it's just, trying to get my head screwed on straight to make sure that we have properly consumed it all. I think that's a big deal here. And that's kind of what we're going to do today is make sure that nothing slipped through the cracks. I probably needed another cup of coffee. But you know what? We're just good old
Never had
fashioned
enough.
Roush. Yeah.
Yeah, I think part of why we had to delay a little bit. I was putting a timeline together. It took longer than I thought it was going to take. Putting this timeline together. This thing is going on just near 2-3 pages on Microsoft Word. I think I've got rough guess 30 to 40 bullet points on here.
See, so it was show prep, all right? The delay is to create a better show. It's going to be worth it, people, all right? Trust us. We're going to go through this timeline. We're taking questions from KS Board. There's a lot of people who jumped on KSR Plus this week. We had Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals, so we appreciate you all entering the fold. We're going to make sure you get involved. And, dropped a few little tidbits this morning too. And it's been great because we have had when you have a different coaching chains trying to you lose some sources and you try to get properly sourced. But KSR, we've got enough army out there. Like, you knew who Pat Biondo was before anybody else.
That's right.
You knew Cutter and Will Stein were meeting this morning before Will Stein was on the radio. So, we get little nuggets out there. We get some stuff, and Jacob is he's tapped some good resources too. As for, we talk a lot about the board, but there's been some great content on KSR Plus as well. I really enjoyed the Lake Travis coach sharing that Will's favorite karaoke song is Little Pink Houses.
We did have that. That's right.
Yeah. Shout out to John Cougar, which I've heard John Cougar's kind of a jerk, which shouldn't surprise you. Indiana Hoosier, right? I mean, you're basically born a bad guy.
Yeah, he was born amongst them.
Him and Ryan Lemon, basically from the same town. I'm sure Ryan will say that he was an Otwellian as well. But so I guess we start from the jump, and at least going back to when we did this show last week, I think you and I were both of the belief, hey, that Kentucky would win, but I don't think.
Yeah, I was all pissed off because Thanksgiving stuff was happening at the house. We just assumed Kentucky. We assumed that this time we would be preparing for the Duke's Mayo.
Yeah, and even if they didn't win, which right now we were like just running 5 miles and like my
Right.
hips were hurting. Yeah, like that feels like an eternity ago.
Yeah.
But
I was getting ready to watch Joe Burrow play football. Like that's where my mind was this time last week.
and the part is I don't think either of us thought that Stoops could get fired unless he got blown out. And even then, it was like, is Mitch really going to do it? And also, are you really going to get blown out? I mean, you're playing a Louisville team without any of their players. They have no skill players. They got number 46 and 89 taking handoffs. Like, how they going to blow out Kentucky? Well, it happened. It's pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So I'm assuming that was your first bullet point on the timeline, Luckett, is Kentucky gets its teeth kicked in against Louisville.
Yeah, we'll start it off timeline Saturday. I figured we read each day and then kind of just go over everything that happens. Okay, 12:03. Toe meets leather. Louisville kicks it off to Kentucky at Intercorporate Name Stadium. 3:18. Final score. Louisville 41, Kentucky 0. 3:40. Mark Stoops says there's 0% chance I'm walking away.
0%.
4:05. 0. 4:05. Mark Stoops says, he addressed it with the media, but also he has bosses that can determine things. Shortly after that, we go on Rapid Reaction where both of us basically say there's probably no coming back from this. So you've got to probably separate.
Same thing Matt said on his postgame show. Everybody, even Ryan Nutman.
At about the same time we're recording Rapid Reaction, Matt gives a long monologue, says they got to go their separate way. After the game, I'm at Roosters, put up at 6:20. I report basically conversations are happening right now. Now, whether they go or whatnot, but conversations are going to happen. So and then that's our Saturday night. We watch the Iron Bowl. We all go to bed at a decent hour. So basically, at this time, Nick, when we're laying our head on the pillow, we think like a change is very much in play, but we don't know. It was very much what's in Mitch Barnhart's head.
Yeah, we had our ducks in a row in preparation if it did happen. And then we're kind of just sitting around for a lot of Sunday. And, well, Sunday was pretty eventful too. We can get to – did you include any of the SEC stuff for Sunday?
Yeah, I've got some stuff in there.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we're going to Sunday. This is where things really start to happen.
Sunday, 3:30 a.m. Hank Luckett wakes up his dad. Dad spends a couple hours. Dad, while he's up with Big Henry, decides to put an update on KS Board after doing some digging. And basically, like, Kentucky's late on Summerall. They can enter a triple threat match right now if they make a move immediately, but it might not be enough. I take a mid-morning nap. I wake up around 11 a.m. John Summerall to Florida is reported.
Yeah.
So that's done. 1 p.m. Matt Jones reports discussions are ongoing currently, but we don't hear anything other than that, just that discussions are happening. 5 o'clock, KSR goes live with Justin Rowland, Cats Illustrated. We basically talk about what's going on, what we think, what we're hearing. We all make predictions. The Fade Roush principle officially gets its hot start.
Oh, yeah. Real heater.
8 p.m., KS Board, Matt reports that a decision will be made on Sunday night, one way or the other. And back on the first Rapid Reaction, he said the longer this goes in the night, the more likely that Kentucky separates. 9:50 p.m., it is reported that Mark Stoops is getting fired. 19 minutes after that, Matt Zenitz tweets out, Will Stein is expected to be a top candidate for this job. At 10:30, two things happen. KSR goes live.
Yep.
And Chris Lowe reports that Mark Stoops has restructured his buyout. At 11:18 p.m., Mike Florio says Chip Kelly is a candidate for the Kentucky job. And that's your Sunday. And that's your Sunday. We laid it when then we go to bed on Sunday night knowing that Mark Stoops is fired and knowing we are covering a coaching search, Nick Roush.
So what were you doing when you saw the tweet that it was happening? I was watching Die Hard, It was one of those like I don't normally watch a movie that's on YouTube TV on one like a basic cable channel, but I saw Die Hard. It was on a streaming service that I don't have, and hey, you know what? This is good, clean fun. Haven't seen Die Hard in a while. Wife's never seen it, and I'm just scrolling the internet anyways, being impatient as hell. So you know what? Die Hard, that's good stuff. And we got to the part right after Hans Gruber acts like he's a hostage that got away, and Bruce Willis, or excuse me, John McClane hands him the gun, and it's empty. Hans thinks it has bullets. He tries to shoot him. So I was at a really good moment right there, and they start shooting the glass out. So he steps all over him. Die Hard, great movie. Gonna have to catch the rest later. Not gonna argue if it's a Christmas movie or not. Just a great movie. But we missed it because we were busy rapidly reacting to it all. Jeff Drummond. He was that. So was the 9:30 when he put it out? I think 9:20, and then
yeah. See, I didn't. There was a lot. There's some stuff I had to leave out, but yeah,
right.
that was basically like I would say 9:15ish. He posted that.
Yeah.
Over at Cats Illustrated,
and then about 20 minutes later, we got official word. So kind of everybody was on high alert that it was happening, and I do think that since in the days that have come out since, Matt's reported it, Mitch said it publicly, but the buyout has always been the biggest part of this, and.
Right.
When Mitch talked about how great Mark was, he didn't go down kicking and screaming.
No, we're not done with Mitch yet. He appears.
Oh yeah, he did a lot of kicking and screaming. But that it really is like Andy Staples, he's brought it up more so than anybody that Stoops had the most prohibitive buyout in the sport because of the 60 days clause. It's like, well, if you can negotiate that out, then you can negotiate anything out. And that's why to go back to the point from the day before, it felt like it had to be a blowout for Stoops to realize, okay, yeah, let's negotiate it. Let's move on because this is a uphill battle.
Mm-hmm.
Tough sledding.
Yeah. You asked me where I was. I remember being at my desk, and I remember I think I was working on the hot board. Put finishing touches on that just in case.
Just in time.
And then the hot board publishes right when we go live. We report that, these are the candidates, but we quickly, I think we said after that watch just Stein and Hartliner, who we've heard.
2-horse race.
Right. So timeline Monday morning, 8:30 a.m. UK makes firing official. They release a statement.
Mm-hmm.
Around 9 a.m., we hear that if Hartline's offered this job, he will take it.
Yep.
So we legitimately know right at that moment that this is a 2-horse race. And so it's just seeing
it's not going to get past those two guys.
Right. 11 a.m. Board of Trustee meeting canceled, right? Whatever board member that was that morning, they had that canceled. We don't need to explain it. That's obvious reasons. 11:30 a.m. plane tracking first starts.
Yep.
Noon, Pete Nakos confirms Stein and Hartline are the top candidates per his industry sources.
Do you have what happens at about 12:15?
I do not. You go ahead. I have. We skip a few hours here from that point. So
it was not just a Pete Nakos bomb. We had a peak bomb. This is when.
I did. I did miss the Peaker bomb.
Yeah, that was when Stephen Peake said that he had heard that it was a done deal, and I forget the exact verbiage in front of me because I know he was trying to figure it out. But I think the reason why it's important to mention this is because that is right around the time when, as Matt calls it, the Trinity Mafia, but basically the city of Louisville was buzzing at this point.
Group chats start firing off.
Yes. Everybody knew somebody that said that Will Stein was going to be the next head coach.
Specifically Middletown, St. Matthews area. Really stuff starts happening over there.
Yeah.
5 p.m. More plane tracking. Columbus, Eugene plane scheduled on the UK booster jet. And so that's kind of where we're at. But really after the peak report, kind of Nick, we all all the smoke is with Stein.
Yes.
And then we have like a 7-hour waiting period, really. This was probably the slowest point of the whole first 3 days. We're just kind of sitting there. We don't know if anything's going to happen tonight.
Yeah.
But the next thing we're expecting to hear is that Kentucky is zoned in on one of these candidates.
Right. And that meant that was time for us to do work and get things ready. I wrote like a salute to Mark Stoops, and it was one of those things where you want to get it out as quickly as you can because people are moving on to the next. That published at 6 p.m. Typically, bedtime at the Roush house is around 7:10. And I was like, man, I didn't do my Will Stein is hired by Kentucky thing. I'm hope if I can just get the kids to bed, then, I'll do that first thing, and then I can get on to some more stuff, kind of research prep. We didn't make it to 7:10, Luckett. Oh, you muted yourself.
No, we did not.
No.
To the good people. We made 7:30 is when the report came. Ross Dellinger reports Stein to Kentucky.
7:30? I thought it was 6:30.
Maybe I've got because the live blog where I pull these from the times.
It's Central Time. Yeah, it can mess you up. But
go ahead.
I was like, it was one of those where I just I was sitting in the chairs, like, okay, let me just breathe for a minute. I'm posting some stuff. I'm like a zombie, and then I get the notification, and I made a noise unlike any noise I've ever made before. It was like oh, it's happening, and I like jumped up, and it was almost like a little skip sort of deal, and I could feel the eyes and the roll into the back of my wife's head because that meant she knew that she was going to have to do bedtime, and I was just like, it's happening, and I just got to like, and I believe. If you would go back into our group chat, I don't think I spelled one cognizant word. It was like, I'm trying to spell Dellinger, but I can't. It
was 6:59 p.m. is when he tweeted that out.
Okay.
So I was 30 minutes off.
There you go. But that's also usually 5 to 7 is about the KSR window. Worst time to break news. There's no worse time to break news because like everybody, you want to take a break, you want to eat. And then we have people who work at night, but you're usually finishing up eating and then getting ready for the night. And in Jack's case, like maybe if it would have been like 5 minutes later, Jack would have been like, he would have been the one who would have known and would have written it because he was listening to Mark Pope. But Mark Pope hadn't started yet. They had the Dick Gabriel show on instead of Mark Stoops. So like it was a real just like, no, like I felt like Kermit the Frog when he does his. It was just full on mayhem from that point forward.
Yeah, and I remember my wife was putting Hank Luckett to bed. I'm downstairs with Baker Luckett. Look at my phone. As soon as I turn on, I think Paw Patrol. Boom. So I'm like, honey, I got to go. Baker, I'm going to turn on this TV for you. Dad's got to go get some work done.
Yeah, we watched an extra Bluey on on Monday.
KSR crew goes live, I think, around 8:15. We put a bio blast up of Will Stein, just as the first look at him. We do this. We do the episode 12 p.m. UK makes it official.
Which, by the way, that what's the word? Not post-mortem, but we get done with the rapid reaction. There's still plenty of stuff to do, but it's been a pretty long 24, 48 hours. And so I wrote essentially here's everything we need to know about Will Stein, what happened, where players are. Like kids are decommitting and stuff. We forgot on Monday we had the JUCO offensive lineman commit to the school when they didn't have a coach. Caleb Pryfrom. That was pretty funny. So like I was kind of doing like here's everything you need to know about the day sort of deal at 10 p.m. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to do the dishes, kind of get my stuff together. I put the news on because it was supposed to snow the next day. So I'm trying to have, all right, how much snow are we going to get? And then it was like around 11 when we were like, oh, it's going to go official tonight. I'm like, damn it. I actually shut down the computer. I didn't just shut it. I shut it down. So we had to fire her back up and get that bad boy ready to roll. Just in time for the 11 o'clock newscast so they could say that it was official.
Yeah, and we had some we shared some intel on KS Board throughout all of this, and then we moved to Tuesday, right? Tuesday, it's going to be a big day. We know what's happening. Stein is the head coach. We're expecting him to be the Y at the game, and just kind of going from there, kind of see if we can hear
Mm.
staffing, recruiting stuff's going on right now, Nick.
Yep.
Day before signing day.
Fire alarms are going off all over
11,
the city center.
Second hour KSR, Sissy Cakes goes live. With
Shout out
Kentucky
Jay and
Sports
Linden,
Radio.
D-Sales.
Shout out Jay and Linden.
Yeah,
D-Sales everywhere.
Trinity getting a lot of shine right now,
Yeah.
right? Shout out to Jay and Linden for getting D-Sales some shine.
There's going to have to be some kind of bounce back from the St. X community after all this. This has been too much Trinity shine. I know my people over there, they're not going to love all of this.
Hey,
this Trinity glazing we've been getting these last few days.
I get to go to a groundbreaking ceremony tomorrow at DeSales. And, buddy, I best believe if they give me a shovel, we're going to be tweeting all about the shovel. It's going to be all over the place. We're going to get on the news. It's going to be great. Trust me. DeSales, we're coming for you, Trinity.
So we get Sissy Cakes, and then right around the same time we get a statement from Stoops.
Mm-hmm.
We sent, and then the mid-afternoon we send Peak to the airport. He's reporting through a fence. See Will Stein, and then Stein is at the game doing the Y, and there's an individual next to Stein sitting at the game. We did not know who that was at the moment, but we found out the next day. But we go to bed Tuesday.
I think Drew knew.
Drew reports it the next day on the radio show. So
but he put it on the board as a name to know before that because people were screen grabbing the photo of him in the plane video.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't find that on the board
it was named to watch. Was his? Yeah, it's hard. The board moves around a lot, but because we just wanted to give Drew a shout out.
And then National Signing Day Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
We see Stein and UK close on the phone. 2:30, we learn about the GM.
Ponatoski gets on board right away.
That
was a lot of Tuesday. Was getting some news that Ponatoski was going to sign. He likes Stein. We're good to go.
Yeah, and then we get the Stein press conference, and then we get the Mitch.
And we get the Mitch one.
I don't know what to call it. I don't know if to call it the statement, a rant. I'm not sure what to call that, but that press conference with Mitch, that was I think unexpected.
Yeah, I think that's a fair word. Very fair word. Because here is the. We explained it in the rapid reaction that a lot of introductory press conferences are, they're half pep rally too, and they're a big moment for the head coach. And so it's just great PR. People are thrilled with Mitch. This was the guy they wanted, right? It was either Stein or Hartline for the most part. Oh, man, I just got a bunch of messages and it totally rattled my brain. But, part of the thing is, this is, an overall positive day. And whenever we knew that, we were going to talk to Mitch afterwards, some of it was going to be asking about Stoops. Because you kind of have to. How did all this go down? And it was very loud. So, we kind of couldn't hear. We're just trying to listen in as best we can. But for whatever reason, when he got asked about Stoops, he got mad at he was getting mad at people. And so I don't know if he was just decaffeinated or tired but something he was tightly wound for that because he essentially just wanted to praise Stoops, and in doing so started kind of getting mad at people, and that really got him going, right? That just kind of got his engines revved for the other questions, and that's when we saw him do the enough is enough sort of deal.
Yeah, John Hill asked him about how much did it help Stoops being open to negotiate to get that stretched out, the buyout.
Yeah, which I'm sure it was huge.
He said he didn't want to talk on that, but then that turned into a rant, and he just starts kind of expressing frustrations with. To me, he was talking to all the criticism he got during the season for the contract, and for Stoops, and all the criticism Stoops was getting during the year. To me, that's what that was about.
Yeah,
but that that I don't, Mitch. That's
that's the job, and it's almost like he should be immune to criticism because Stoops was good for that run.
Right. He said, I want to, there's no happy endings. Want to remember the 8-year kind of bowl streak he had and all of that. Yeah.
And then where he really, like, the part that has everybody talking today and has folks fired up and angry at Mitch is because it wasn't that just people asked if Kentucky was resourced correctly, which you asked Will Stein that question during the intro press conference. It is the most valid question you could ask a guy who came from Phil Knight, Nike, and Oregon, who's coming to Kentucky, who's rumored to have a $22 million basketball roster. Do you have dollars to spend on players? So you asked the very kind of broad general question that people want to know. And John got very specific when asking about JMI and the NIL setup. And the part for me that when he just said enough is enough, like, we have enough, we're doing it the right way, we hired people, and we're doing things the right way. One, there is no right way. The rules don't exist. There's, like, collectives can still do whatever they want. So there are no, like, he basically said we're not going to cheat, but while also acknowledging that cheating happens, which is very, like, why? And
Why are you standing on this?
It's like
why are you carrying this? Yeah.
It's very holier than thou. But even if you cast that aside, when he's saying enough is enough, it's not that Mitch, like, we have talked to him more. I know Matt is that became a whole thing, but, like, I've interviewed him a couple of times this year. He's probably had like 6 after those Champions Blue meetings where he takes questions. And the one in particular that I attended was when the JMI deal happened, and they explained the why they wanted to do this. Even the next day when we were killing him, Paul Archie goes on with Tom Leach. He's the president of JMI, and he explains the why. And he says, see, we're going to, we have the infrastructure in place to kind of streamline NIL deals and blah, blah, blah. But there's still no how. How does it work? Which is really the bottom line in all of this, is that people want to know how it works. It's why we ask about GMs. Mitch got mad about that too. He called it just semantics. We just want to know how this works. We don't have to get exact dollar figures, but, like, if the future of this program is based on how resourced you are, how is it getting done, and is it getting done effectively? Because here's the thing, Luckett. Here's the thing. The reason we have to ask those questions is because I know people who operated collectives. When you ask them questions about how's it going, particularly with the clearinghouse, I mean, guys, it's like they're being a pain in the ass for $600 deals. Small potatoes is still a pain in the ass for people who are trying to get, a volleyball player paid to do an appearance, right? Like that. Why is that a pain in the ass? UK and JMI are making it a pain in the ass. You know why? Because it's not through UK and JMI. And that's why these questions have to be asked. And Mitch needs to answer them. So, like, I understand the frustration with this critique that Kentucky doesn't have money. I could understand why you would be frustrated when you basically are working around the clock to make sure they have the right resources. But at the same time, there's very little reassurance we're getting other than we're good. You ask Mark Stoops, we're good. Well, we're working through it, but we're good. We're working through it, we're good. Like, that's not enough. It's just not.
They said that when NIL started, and then 6 months later, everybody was pissed off. So
yeah,
wasn't good enough. For me, I think this is a football podcast. You know, basketball, we can talk. That's another lane. But football, like, bottom line, just end of the day, simple business. Kentucky basketball is being funded a certain amount. It's a lot more than the rest of the league.
Mm-hmm.
So for a football team, just very simply, how are you going to compete and get the players you want to win in this league when these other teams have more money than you? Like, where's
Yeah.
are they making up for it in the gaps? Like, where are you doing? Do you feel resourced? I told you the person I felt like they hated that I asked that question on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right. I just felt like it was like, oh, why are you asking that? But it's like it's the ultimate thing.
It matters. It matters.
Yeah, it matters. It just does. And so, and the other part of all this, Nick, is they moved the collective in house.
Yeah.
No one else has done that.
Nope.
We're still in kind of this gray area where they're kind of transitioning thing to the CSC, but that hasn't really happened yet. So all these other collectives are out still operating in business as usual. Kentucky got rid of theirs right when it felt like people were kind of getting happy with
how things were going.
The situation. Yeah. Like I think last year at this time, Kentucky football, I think that was the most content they had been with just kind of how the money, how it was there and how they could spend it and how they could utilize it. And so you've taken all that away. You've gone in-house with JMI. You're sitting up there and you're saying, we're following the rules, which, okay, well, who else? What are even the rules? Like, that's the other thing. What are even the rules in this kind of wild, wild west? So I think it's fair. It's specifically when you talk about the football program, just to wonder or have skepticism or doubt about that they're being funded enough. Yeah. And so, they played it off, and like I said, Will Stein mentioned they talked to, he talked to 10,000 people who are going to be willing to, at the basketball game, he talked to 10,000 people who would be, I guess, boosters or whatever they had there. So I'm sure he talked to like a booster group there at halftime of the game. And so, I mean, we'll see and all, but it is a fair question because what Mitch is arguing, at least in my view, is like, hey, I'm the longest tenured AD in this conference. I'm now the longest tenured AD in college athletics. I did something I felt was like ahead of the curve, which was slide this collective in house. And his group of supporters, the fans, has just shared a lot of like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
A lot of doubt. And I think he's frustrated by that. I mean, and he was very prickly in that interview. And I think that's probably going to be something that potentially, I guess, continues. It was just very, very,
very weird.
Which is very,
unlike him.
But when else is he going to express those frustrations to is kind of my question. Like, I know he talks to the Champions Board, but that was a different kind of press conference in the Champions Board. And the Champions Board, it's like you and 4 people. It's like us, KSR, and 3 or 4 people. Yeah. There was 40 people around him. I told you I felt like I was interviewing Caleb Williams at the Combine. Like,
it was a lot.
There was, I mean, a moss pit of people. I think we only got 4 questions, right? 4 or 5 questions.
Talk for 10 minutes.
Yeah, he answers for, gives long answers each time. And so it's just, it was an interesting end to a turning of the page, new era type day for the football team.
It was bringing up the bad from the old era.
Yeah, but it's also like these problems or these concerns are not going away. We still don't know how much money they're giving the football team or the basketball team with the red share. And I understand why they want to keep those numbers quiet, but the longer we don't know those numbers,
it's not going away.
Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, it's not going away. Yeah, and so these questions are going to be asked and they're going to be talked about. And when fans when they're at the Red Lot or they're at KS Bar or they're at family functions, they go to church picnic. Heck, they're sitting in church before mass or service. They're going to be talking like, how much money do you think they're not funded enough? I mean, these are conversations people are having.
Yep.
In the fan base. And if the more they don't know, the more like stuff like this can, I think, build where you're going to get asked about it a ton because we don't have any concrete information at all.
Nope. It would certainly help. It would certainly help. It would help if they had a few extra dollars in their pockets. Maybe you can get some extra dollars in your pocket this weekend. Maybe you can get some extra dollars in your pocket tonight when you open up the BetMGM app. I know there's been some SEC, ACC hoops action. Hasn't been going great for the SEC except for watching the Hogs pistol whip the Louisville Cardinal Birds. That was amusing. I got a good kick out of Cal just continuing to own Louisville. They just always lose to that guy. It's really funny. Hopefully you got in there and bet the Hogs to cover at home. There's a lot of different ways you can bet on BetMGM, whether it's college basketball, college football. We've got conference championship weekend coming up. And then not only playoffs and bowl season, but we'll get a little Saturday NFL action for too long. NBA is happening all of the time. Probably the NBA Cup is kind of a fun little thing to sprinkle on maybe with a single game parlay. And they've got bonus tokens for you all over at BetMGM. It's the best place to bet out there. They've got the best deals, the best tokens, the best boosts, whatever you want to call it. They got it. And when you sign up and use bonus code ON3, they're going to match your first bet up to $1,500. So you make your deposit, make your first wager. If it doesn't win, you're going to get all of that money back in bonus bets up to $1,500 at BetMGM. So don't wait. Go on, download the app now, put in promo code ON3, and make it legendary. Fill up your pockets and build your bankroll with BetMGM. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in the U.S. or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. First bet offers for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements, and rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Like a couple things that we should elaborate on a little bit further before we get to questions. We got a lot of questions on KS4 that I wanted. You just hit the head over it a little bit. One, love the toughness stuff from Stein. I mentioned it. He reminded me of Lanning a lot yesterday. Then he went on KSR today, and he essentially, he said, we're not going to have a ones and twos. It's going to be a blue team and a white team. We're going to mix them up. We're going to see who plays well together, and it's going to help everybody develop. Love hearing that. But that's just a fun, something different, a different way to approach things. Feels very innovative, very new, and that's what's always great about hires like this. Is it's very refreshing.
Yeah, but we're still making depth charts. So,
oh yeah, we're going to make them. He's just not going to put one out.
So, yeah, I think the spring ball emphasis is just going to be different. Just like they're going to have a spring game. I know that was a complaint for a lot of people last season, and they're going to, for lack of a better phrase, get after it. I think this spring and this summer, and just totally.
It's going to make it hard.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot different. Just going to be just different, and everything. My bigger takeaway of that yesterday, Nick, was just how this whole thing is just going to be different from Soups. Not saying one side was wrong or right, but they're just going to totally go about it differently.
Right? 100% philosophical differences. Mitch talked about Stein as a risk taker. He wants to be aggressive, and then he says on KSR today, I don't believe in bend, don't break.
Yeah.
Most
offensive coordinators, when they get a defense, they want a pressure-heavy defense that emphasizes forcing turnovers, but can give the ball back to. But if they're allowing scores, maybe they're okay with a 5-play, 80-yard drive as opposed to a 12-play. They rather see that so they can get the ball back quicker. I think, obviously, the fourth down stuff, the aggressive stuff, that is just kind of, I think, the play calling, offensive play caller mindset.
But he's not going to be calling plays.
That was a surprise.
Is that a pro or a con?
I fall in the middle. I would prefer him to just call plays. Like, don't put it to chance.
You're right.
Like, that's your superpower. Just you're not winning a national championship at Kentucky. At least not in these first few years, right? Like anything is possible in the world, but these first few years, you're not winning a national title. I would want to maximize in the margins any advantage you have in the margins, and his play calling
is an advantage. Yeah,
is one of the biggest advantages. So I don't love that, but I do. To his point, like other coaches have given it up. Like Kenny Dillingham does not call plays at Arizona State,
yeah.
and they've had a lot of success early. And then, of course, all the national championship coaches, which was what he was pointing to. And really, I think the group, like you look at Lane Kiffin, you look at Kalen DeBoer, you look at Ryan Day. They all were former play callers that have given it up.
Yeah,
to kind of oversee, but they all are heavily involved in the offensive plan.
And that's where, as much as I wanted him to be the play caller, there's part of you that gets it. First-time head coach. I don't want to see a lot of first-time head coach mistakes at the cost of a little bit more aggressive style. Like I would think that his imprint is going to be on the play caller's sheet, who we presume to be Justin Burke, which that report came out one of these days.
There's all moving parts right now. We don't really know. Everyone wants to know coordinators, and I get it. We know Burke's going to be on the staff, but we don't know the capacity.
Yeah.
And then Stein gave I'm not hiring my friends message to Matt. I mean, we'll see if that holds true. But
I think Burke's a pretty close friend.
Yeah. So we'll see if that holds true. I know there's like Charlie Strongbuzz out there.
I would highly doubt that.
So we'll see what happens there. We just got to see kind of how it works out. But he's kind of pointed to that he has his coordinators picked out, and it's just dotting the I's and crossing the T's at this point. So we'll see.
Not Todd Grantham. I mean, we don't need third and Grantham.
Todd Grantham was at Oklahoma State last year, and it did not go well.
No, not well at all. Shocked, really, truly. The other, what was the other thing? It was on the tip of my tongue. He noted that he was on the phone recruiting beforehand, talking to somebody 30 minutes down the road. One could presume it's Seneca Driver. There's also a couple talented kids in Louisville at Christian Academy.
Right, in Trinity, yeah,
that he'll be getting after. And we had a Vince tweet because, of course, we did. But Will Stein, he's like, it starts here, but hey, Kentucky's close to everything, and everyone wants to go to Kentucky. Which it's fun to hear that confidence instead of this shit's hard. It's just like, yeah, there we go. We're not gonna just give up and go recruit JUCOs, which thankfully Stein respectfully passed on 2 of the 3 that they had signed. Which, by the way, signing day is over, but they still could sign 2 more players. It's open until Friday. Lincoln Watkins, we expect to be an open and shut deal. That'll be Friday evening. He just waited for who knows, whatever reason, but he shared that on Wednesday. And then Masai Tilson's the kind of waiting game. Rutgers is trying to flip him, the 4-star safety, who's the second highest ranked player in Kentucky's class. And
Braxton Urquhart, junior college cornerback, haven't really heard anything.
Yeah, I would assume they're just saying
it's probably not what I know you come here for more better information than that, but that seems like a situation, where they're probably separated.
Yeah. One other thing that everybody's going to want us to talk about, because Matt kind of pushed him on Cutter, and Stein met with Cutter this morning, had a long meeting. But when asked directly about it, like, Stein is very hesitant to say anything. I mean, he went on his whole spiel about everybody's going to compete at spring practice whenever he was asked about Cutter. And then when pressed, do you want him here? And he said 100%. The point he was trying to make, I think, was less about, like, he doesn't want to guarantee who's going to be here or not, because he doesn't know what these guys are going to decide. So, like, if he says Cutter Boley's going to be a great quarterback, I can't wait to have him, but then Cutter Boley decides to enter the portal instead, well, it's egg on his face. Similarly, that's why he essentially said, I'm telling him that I can be the best quarterbacks coach for him. So I'm not confirming that Cutter Boley is back. I don't think anybody should take that from his comments other than to say that he wants him back. And he wants a lot of players back. But they also had to figure out how to do that, Luckett. You know how you do that? You figure out, A, who you want back, and then you figure out how much it's going to cost, and then how much money is left over to go spend on more players.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, they're doing a math game right now, which Pat Biondo is in charge of the math. When he got the general manager question, basically described him as a salary cap manager. It was we still do all the other stuff, evaluation, recruiting, etc., but he's a salary cap guy. So like there's a lot to still that goes into it. But I did think that it was also noteworthy that during that press conference yesterday, when he asked what does he want in a quarterback, he essentially described a quarterback that has the traits that Cutter Boley has: toughness, mobility, accuracy.
Yeah,
so
I think as we've entered this new world, part of like managing rosters is assigning a dollar figure to them that aligns with the market, and kind of how does that fit on your budget sheet, whatever your numbers are, and then just kind of balancing that. So, if teams are talking to Cutter Boley right now, they offer $7. Kentucky's maybe only willing to offer $4.50. How hard of a stance does Kentucky take? Are they willing to bend if they have to meet a price tag that would, in their view, maybe compromise building the rest of their roster? So that's kind of what they have to figure out. That is really kind of, I think, what they're doing right now.
Yep.
And to Stein's point, like they are very early in the stage of kind of evaluating. Go ahead.
Breaking news. Oh no. Oh no. Okay.
I see it.
Yeah, I don't.
There you go, Nick.
Oh no.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, you can read it.
Shout to Justin Rowland. He did have this today, but he didn't even know, I think, if it was going to be OC. Matt Zenitz is reporting that ex-LSU offensive coordinator Joe Sloan is the new offensive coordinator at the University of Kentucky. So Justin Burke will be on the staff, but it looks like he's going to be kind of the number 2 in that offensive room. And Florida just made Brad White official as well, Nick.
So in the Zenit's tweet, it is talking about 2024, second-ranked passing offense. He helped Jaden Daniels win the Heisman. Did they mention what happened in 2025?
The thing was a disaster at LSU.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know who to blame, but a lot of LSU fans blamed him for everything. And basically, the way Brian Kelly got fired is people, like, from my understanding, is they told him, you've got to fire Joe Sloan, and he said he wouldn't do it, so they fired Brian Kelly. So
that is correct. Now Sloan was there when they got Jaden Daniels. I believe he was part of the Jaden Daniels kind of recruitment thing. I have to go back and kind of do some digging. Now, what happened really? What happened? Like the failure of LSU was basically Mike Denbrock left.
Yeah,
who's now the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame. And it's not a coincidence. Notre Dame went from good to Marcus Freeman to kick ass with Marcus Freeman once Denbrock got there. And there's a reason Luke Fickell was kicking ass at Cincinnati and it stopped at Wisconsin. Mike Denbrock was at Cincinnati. So he's kind of the straw that stirs the drink at some of these places. So yeah, Sloan took over. It was good last year, and it wasn't good last year. So my antenna immediately goes to Garrett Nussmeier.
Does Nussmeier just stink?
No, is Kentucky going to be in play for him potentially?
He's not done?
No, I believe he's got another year. He hasn't announced his intentions yet.
How is he not done? He's been in college for 100 years. Let's look up real quick.
I believe he was a true freshman in 21, so I think he's got one more year left.
21, 22, 23, 24, 25. No, if he was true freshman in 21, he's done.
He's a fifth-year senior. Did he get hurt at all? Okay. I thought there was a chance he could come back, so it doesn't look like, unless he got hurt one of these years. and he played the whole season. So yeah, maybe he's done. So throw that off the window then. But I thought he had another year.
He didn't have 2,000 passing yards this year. God,
he didn't play the last 3 games.
I know that offense was just atrocious. Couldn't run the ball.
It was bad. They the last 2 years they really couldn't run the ball at all with Kelly. In the last couple years, it was pretty bad. They 106.2 yards per game on 3.6 yards per rush this year, 116.4 yards per game on 4.06 yards per rush. Yeah, it just wasn't really good. They outside of Daniels, they never had a running back run for over. Only one reached 700 yards in 4 seasons while Sloan was on staff.
Not a deal.
And again, how I'm going to look at it, you can look at it however you want. With the offensive coordinator. This is Stein's offense, so you do have to trust him with the offense. So we'll see. It is interesting though if he brings in Sloan and Burke. It's 2 guys who are play callers who are going here to maybe not to kind of be
under a play caller,
micromanaged for lack of a better word, because Stein's going to be heavily involved in all of that.
Well, it's interesting. I think it's also fascinating that Kentucky has essentially traded Joe Sloan for Eric Wolford, which
we had a little coach trade. I didn't think about that.
It's Wolf was the most hated coach on the staff for many Kentucky fans, and I think Sloan was probably that for a lot of LSU fans this year. But admittedly, it was just in a vacuum from this disastrous 2025 season. So I might be judging a little bit too harshly. It's mostly because I thought LSU was going to be awesome this year, and the offense sucked. It was terrible. They never figured it out. Couldn't get anything going. So hopefully Sloan gets it going here. He's gonna be the guy.
Yeah. I would just say, before he was at LSU, he was an OC at Louisiana Tech. They didn't have a winning season. Like, there's going to be a lot of skepticism about this.
Yeah.
This hire.
Yep. But if you read the tea leaves, like it feels like LD Washington is probably going to hang around. I don't know about Derek Shea, but maybe they were at the presser yesterday. Louisiana and Texas will be a popular recruiting place for this Kentucky football program. I know Stein said we're going to start here, and Vince had to tweet about it. But Louisiana and Texas, that's where a lot of their ties are currently. So something to consider. Hey, let's hit some questions real quick. I say real quick. I mean, it feels like we just started and it's been almost an hour. Nick Calzada, Will Wolford was getting this surgery, listening and watching while having surgery, which is kind of wild. I like Me Too, which I just realized that Me Too is Me Too. So that's a little awkward. Based on what we know about the team, what would your retention strategy be? Who would be your top priorities to keep? And what positions would you spend the most on? Offensively, I would prioritize.
They don't have a choice. They got to go buy 2 tackles.
Yeah. And I would say keeping DJ Miller, Cam Miller, Willie Rodriguez, Cutter Boley. That feels like a
Jalen Farmer. They got to keep Jalen Farmer.
Oh yeah, and got to keep Jalen Farmer. Yeah,
that's all on offense. Nick, can we talk about the Wolford era?
Yeah.
Pros. Like, I think he did a good job in the portal last year.
Yeah.
Building that. He got on Farmer, who might be one of the best guards if they keep him in the country this coming up year.
He
Cons
did a great job in 21 too. Like, that was a great season.
Yeah. Cons. He's supposed to fix high school recruiting and didn't. Like, the same problems are still the same problems. So in our next couple conversations with Stein, I'm looking forward to kind of like peeling the layers of that onion back and trying to find out like how they're going to go about fixing this. Because yes, they took a step in the right direction, but that is still an issue for them right now. That's going to have to get fixed with a more, I think, sustainable plan and execution of a plan than what we've seen really from Kentucky in the last 5 years.
Yeah, because you look up and I believe somebody said that Stenberg was very vocal in the pregame show about the backups weren't ready to take a step forward. That group wasn't ready to become
Like to
starters.
be starters this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's
It's not. I don't think
crazy.
it's a hot take. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just look at yeah, I mean, they're going to have to portal. Like the JUCO kid they brought in, I think is going to be able to compete for a starting spot. Jordan Knox
Mm-hmm.
from Northwest Mississippi. He started as a true freshman at Northwestern before
It's
redshirting
a good time.
and then moving to JUCO. So like he's going to be able to, I think, compete for a spot at left guard. You got Farmer at right guard, but then like center, where you at with Wibberly? Abaselm was a guy you'd hope like could be a guy you're counting on to plug in. You know, where's Malachi Wood at tackle? But after that, Nick, it's just kind of like Darren Stry's there potentially, but you're going to have to go out and spend money at this position. And there's a lot of talk about coordinators. Like that old line coach needs to get in here pretty quick too.
Yep. No kidding. No kidding. Okay. Let's see. Oh, defensively, I would Mikey Humphrey Grace. That guy can play in any system.
Mm-hmm.
You want to keep him around. Tavian Gadsden, obviously.
Yep.
Like pretty much the defensive line was outstanding.
Yeah, I think just off the bat, I would have Humphrey Grace, Gadsden, and Gerard Smith all back next year. Those are your starters up front.
I felt good about Greg Godfrey the way he played down the stretch.
Yeah, and if you get Gadsden back, you're going to get Cowan back, who showed some stuff there at the end of the year. CJ Works is a guy you don't want to lose. I think he's got a lot of potential. I would want Godfrey. I think he can be a good linebacker. And then after that,
it's
with Cam Dooley and Ty Bryant, obviously.
Yeah,
I think
they'll be back, I would assume. But you're going to need help.
That cornerback room, we'll see.
Mystery.
Like they've got guys that have played. It's kind of it was a disappointing year last year.
Nichols has been hurt for half his career.
They've got 10 scholarship players in that cornerback room right now. I don't think all those 10 guys are going to be on the team on spring ball. So there's probably going to be some two-way movement there, I would imagine. And I've mentioned it. Cornerback is the position they're just going to have to address. An offensive line they have to address. And I think wide receiver. There's some young wide receivers you like, but I think they could really benefit from going out and splurging and getting a dude at that position if they've got the funds in order.
I would also just like to add to all of the people who have been like, hey, Dante Dowdell was at Oregon. And Will Stein's here now. Surely he'll stay. He left Oregon.
He's buried on the depth chart out there. Left Oregon for Nebraska.
Yeah, he left. I mean, I don't know. So I don't know what that means for him, but I would just I think it's not. He left Oregon. I think that's the more. Not that he was at Oregon. Like no. Like they know what they got. He left. So, let's see. What do we have next up here? Oh, look it. You know what's going on this weekend at the Yum Center?
Monster trucks.
Nope. My guy Billy Strings is playing, and I don't have any tickets because I was like, man, it might be in the middle of the coaching search. Coaching search is over, though. So why the hell not splurge? Head over to Game Time, gametime.co on your computer, or download the app Game Time. It's the best place for last-minute deals on concerts, sporting events, and so much more. $150 can get me in a lower level to see Billy Strings. He plays for a long time. He can tear it up. That's at the KFC Yum Center. But you can get tickets to anywhere. World Cup is coming to North America next year. They got games in Atlanta, Kansas City, all over the place. And Game Time will hook you up for tickets there. Conference Championship weekend. I always like splurging on tickets for Christmas gifts. So don't mess around. Go to Game Time. Use the promo code ON3 and you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's promo code ON3 for $20 off your first purchase at Game Time. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. The best place to get your tickets is at Game Time. All fees included. All right? Don't mess around. Get on over to Game Time today.
And Nick, I want to point this out with the Sloan development.
Yep.
Assuming Burke, those wheels are still in motion, and he's going to be on the Kentucky staff. Assuming that happens, he has spent all but 2 seasons of his coaching career coaching tight ends. He coached tight ends for 3 years at South Florida.
Yep.
He coached tight ends, let's see here, for a couple years at UTSA. So my assumption would be Sloan's coaching quarterbacks. Burke would come in, coach tight ends, probably get a co-OC role or passing game coordinator, something along those lines. So if you're looking for tight end search, I know CJ Conrad has come up some.
Yep.
I would say they have their tight ends coach, assuming the Burke thing that happens. And so you've got 2, I think, boxes there checked on offense. You've got the quarterbacks coach and you've got the tight ends coach.
Boom. There you have it. Astute observation, Mr. Luckett. How do we envision Stein mixing tempos from his time at Oregon, Mr. Luckett? You know what they say, Luckett? Gas.
I have a post on Twitter. It's clipped from the Oregon-Indiana game, and it's Brad Nessler saying, this is what Will Stein calls his gas tempo. Get your asses lined up. And it was just them going – they basically in Oregon games, there's about 1 to 2 series a game where they go like lightning fast.
Yeah.
And they scored. They got the tempo, created a coverage bust, and they hit a bomb for a touchdown against Indiana. And so he'll utilize that, but he also, Nick, like they'll go slow and they'll go medium tempo and they'll mix tempos within a game. And that's typically how he likes to operate. I'm going to like, once I get some time, I'm going to sit down and watch some of these games.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, you get to watch one next Saturday.
And I'll get to watch one next Saturday. And I'll write about all of this, kind of just how from my point of view, how he kind of goes about setting up, play calling, all of this stuff. But the fun thing about Stein, I think potentially, is like you do feel like you're getting one of the best coordinators, play callers. Not that different from Cohen, but he is all college football. It's all he's ever been in, right? So he understands the nooks and crannies of play calling in college and the tricks and things you can pull off and what you can get away with and all of that. And so that's really exciting. You're going to see with him, we're going to see gadget plays. Like they got in Wildcat and ran like a double reverse on a 3rd and short against Indiana. You're going to see a lot of different things. They ran the old Dante Dowdell fullback offset dive for a conversion when I watched that this morning. So you're going to see little tricks that they're gonna utilize in, like, one of the criticisms with him, it's a little cute sometimes, but that goes with that when you're willing to just kind of get a little funky.
Peanut Butter Policy said that Joe Sloan looks like Liam Cohen, and I don't see it at all like it.
I didn't see it either when I looked at the picture. But
yeah, Joe Sloan looks like a guy that was in your fraternity. I mean, that he's got that look to him. There are a lot of questions about what expectations should be in varying degrees, particularly whether it's recruiting, wins or losses. And I did Cutler's show earlier, and he asked me to grade the hire. And the thing is you can't really grade it until you see the other hires. Right? Like, you can't set expectations until you know what he's supporting himself around. I think that, how do I know if Will Stein made a good hire if he can't hire a defensive coordinator? Right? And we get the antithesis of the Mark Stoops. I mean, so, trying to set expectations in certain regards could be tough. I will say, though, at least from an in-state perspective, I mean, Braum was recruiting Kentucky when he was at Purdue because of his Kentucky connections. Stein has Kentucky connections. They didn't really have a guy on the staff last year with Kentucky connections. Mark Perry, and he was an analyst who was basically getting walk-ons. They just that was it.
I mean, does Amor count because he played here?
No, because he wasn't recruiting Kentucky.
Yeah.
They just didn't really have anybody. So, at least from that perspective, he will be knocking on doors and seeing what he can do.
Well, I look at it like this. I mean, if we were going to write or give a thing like what they were doing wrong, in my opinion, they pretty much punted on high school recruiting, essentially, and they just stopped recruiting in state.
Yeah.
they decided that wasn't for them, for lack of not totally, but that's not going to happen with Stein. They're going to be highly motivated to get in these high schools and get players. Specifically, like there's going to be some wars in that city of Louisville, specifically this 27 class. I mean, like, if you don't follow recruiting, I know, don't care, portal, I don't care, they're going to show up. Like, you are going to want to follow it this year because not only that is going to set the tone for what this rivalry is going to be. Like, you heard Stein talk nice about Braum, obviously, and Braum they both talk nice in kind of weird ways. They're both like, yeah, I respect them, but we're going to want to kill each other. And it's going to get, and that's where the rivalry gets started. It's going to get nasty.
I need one Trinity kid to go to UK and one Trinity kid to go to U of L. Like we need to break up the family.
Well, it's not just that. It's over there at Cal where Hunter Cantwell's the coach. It's going to get, because they got a couple dudes over there at Cal right now.
They got the defensive end and then the receiver. And I don't know why I can't think of any of their names.
Monitoring that.
They're going to win. Are they going to win the state championship?
It's going to get intense.
They might win their 5th straight state championship by like 50 points.
Yeah, what are they? 3? 4?
3.
Yeah. 3 so who are they playing in? Like, who are some of the teams? Is Central in 3?
Yeah, but Central's bad now. Central fell off the last like 2-3 years. Belfry maybe. Belfry's in 3 for a while, but I think they already beat them. I mean, it's bad. They're going to beat the crap out of him. Which if Nick Roush and we're going to take Julian Tackett's job for one day and just get back to 4 classes. The state doesn't need 6 classes. Go back to 4. It's enough. Enough's enough. Well, we can even meet in the middle. We can go to 5. All right, but like, I mean, some of these teams are just rolling. Which, by the way, shout out to our friend Derek Terry. His Corbin Red Hounds got robbed by Boyle County. That was
they're not happy.
that was something else. But you know what? I can't feel too bad because the time I played sports in Corbin, me and another basketball player, I'll never forget his name, Leslie Mann, not Leslie Mann, something Mann.
That's the actress.
Well, Leslie, but last name was Mann, Mann, spelled the same way as the actress, which she's a looker, Leslie Mann's got it going on. But first quarter, me and Mann both scored the first 10 points of the game. And when he got his 10th point, he got it on a fadeaway, and they called me for a push. Like, dude, this guy's like 250 pounds. He's a big old sumbitch, and it's a foul on me.
There it is. Henry Boyer.
We may have had some coaches get in a fight in the handshake line. So, you know what? I can't feel too bad about Corbin getting hosed on a call because they've been hosing people on calls for years down there in the 13th region. Let me see. Okay. What ranks do we think that he is going to pull this defensive line coach from? I like this. Current Power 4 defense coordinator, position coach, G5 head coach or defensive coordinator, NFL position coach, current or former Trinity defensive coordinator.
Well, I mean, if you believe Charlie Strong's going to be on the staff, that's probably what he would coach.
I don't think he would be defensive coordinator, though.
No, I thought you said D-line coach. You said DC. I thought you said
DC.
D-line.
Yeah, where would we pull the DC from?
Just hunch and gut, knowing kind of how this works. I would say a power conference position coach, probably a Big Ten or an SEC position coach.
I would say it's probably like a linebackers position coach that is like co-defensive coordinator.
Right. Yeah, that's where I'm kind of looking. Yeah,
because that's. Summerall got that tag. Klink had that tag where you're not the defense coordinator, but you're good. You've been there a while, so they want to make you feel nice about yourself, but you're not the boss. Now you get a chance to be the boss. I would assume it would be somewhere along those lines.
Right. I think that makes sense.
Let's rip a couple more, and then we'll get out of here. I mean, there's just a lot of tomfoolery happening on this thread over on KS Board. Guys, I expected better from you, okay? Let's see here.
But I do back on the Sloan thing. I do like he didn't have a working relationship with him, so
Not
do
hiring
think
his
it's
buddies.
yeah, I
Yeah.
do think it's a sign that he's just not going to hire guys he works with, and that's you never know with these first time coaches, Nick, just where they're going to pull these guys from. It's kind of difficult sometimes to get a read on that.
Yeah.
When was the last former LSU coach to coach at Kentucky?
Bradley Del Pivito.
Yeah,
For him.
good call.
Coach,
Good
if
pull.
Mark Stoops tells me it's Easter, go paint your eggs.
Yeah, good pull.
This is a great line. Which he got. Where did he get in trouble at? He got in trouble after he left UK.
I can't remember. I think he was on Texas State's staff here lately.
Yeah. Okay. We'll address the other thing too, because somebody asked in the chat if Novosad is coming. So, is it Nick Novosad? Is that correct?
Austin Novosad.
Okay.
From Texas.
From Texas. Been in Oregon a hot minute. Dante Moore's the starter. He's probably coming back for another year. Dante Moore. I would doubt he would go to the NFL this year. Most likely going to hit the portal because he hasn't played yet. He wants to play. He's got 2 years of eligibility remaining. There's a lot of smoke at Oregon that he's just going to follow Stein to Kentucky. One, I think a lot of that smoke is just operating under the assumption that somebody's going to go with Stein. And Novosad's got to hit the portal. So, it makes sense. Two, the other part I would say is I would highly, highly doubt that there would be room for Novosad and Boley. That just so if you're dreaming that, I would not dream that. I would think it would
also be super expensive to roster both of them.
Yeah. When
you also have schools willing to pay them to be starting quarterbacks.
Yeah. So that's not going to happen. But if you told me to say like Kentucky starter will be one of the two next year, that'd be a pretty. I feel like the odds wouldn't be great, but that'd be a pretty safe bet that it would be one of those two. The other part of this too that we briefly mentioned Matt Ponatoski signing, but how much you're going to want to spend on a guy for 2 years? You got Ponatoski waiting too, so it's kind of nice to have a quarterbacks coach come in with a decent quarterback situation. So, I think the Novosad stuff will be out there until they get their ducks in a row. I have a much longer insider's notes piece on KS Board from this morning that you haven't read. Go check it out over there. But essentially kind of laying out the land of how it's going to work for a while. We heard that Landon Watson, the linebacker who was previously at Marshall and TCU, is hitting the transfer portal. So that would be 5 schools in 5 years?
4 schools in 6 years total, but yeah, 4 and 5. I mean, 4 and 5, yeah. But I don't. He needs a hardship waiver or some type of waiver, medical or whatever, because he's already gone 5 for 5. This would be a 6th year, so he's going to need a waiver to be eligible next year.
But we are. I don't think you should expect a bunch of roster news to come out in the days that come. They're still getting all of their ducks in a row, and then B, he's going to go back to Oregon play. So I would suspect that it's not going to be happening overnight with a bunch of roster news. They, like we said earlier, the GMs and everybody in there, the brain trust has to evaluate this roster, figure out their values, and then they got to give those guys their offers essentially. And they got a couple weeks to do it before things need to start happening and the tampering gets to a top-notch level. But nevertheless, it's an exciting time. And like you said yesterday, this was a huge week with great change, but there's still much, 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 much more to come down the road.
Well, I've got a funny thing here. Someone said Joe Sloan looks like Liam Cohen.
Yeah.
Then the board's saying Joe Sloan looks like Adam Luckett. So which one is it? Do me and Liam Cohen look alike?
No, You do not look like Liam Cohen, but I can see a little Joe Sloan there. I can maybe see a little there because it's you got kind of the same geography, your geometry of your face.
Just damn good looking guy, that Joe Sloan then.
All right. Well, before we get too crazy, we got to get out of here. We went a little long for you today. It's been a crazy, crazy time in the Bluegrass. We appreciate you following along. For Adam Luckett, I'm Nick Roush. Go Cats and go Kroger.